everyone, and welcome to TWF NXT. I'm Gorilla Monsoon with Corey Graves and with Booker T. And today on NXT, we have a good show here today on NXT. We're going to talk about, no, we're going to talk about what happened yesterday on Monday Night Raw. On Monday Night Raw, Bobby Lashley beat Seth Rollins, who is out wounded, and now he's got the right to fight Asuka at SummerSlam, Gorilla Monsoon says. If Asuka buys Ricochet at Bash at the Beach, Gorilla Monsoon says. You got that right, Corey Graves said. 3 shows coming up. We got Bash at the Beach on the 20th of this month. We got SummerSlam somewhere in this next month. And we got Heatwave also in the month as well. You know what Booker T says? Over the years when you were in WCW, Bash at the Beach was like our SummerSlam. And Heatwave, well, that was like the SummerSlam of ECW back in the day. Well, that's right. That's right. Bash at the Beach is back. Heatwave has been back. SummerSlam's always been around, Gorilla Monsoon says. You know, so once there's something good, you know, for you to talk about. You know, so once we got something it's, good to talk about, Gorilla Monsoon says. But I think we're in trouble if I'm standing with you, Corey, and you, Booker T. Alright, everyone. It's about time that the man gets a strap. And if I cannot get the TWF heavyweight winnings, then I'll have to go to the next great thing. And I see that I think that I don't want to go for the Pennsylvania Reich winnings. I don't want to deal with Gunther. I don't want to go to 24/7 winnings and deal with Xia Li. I don't want to even have to go, and I could go to TWF and deal with Asuka. But I think I know which one I want to go for. The TWF Allegheny Shares winnings. A strap that hasn't been put on stake only one time, since Melina Perez, has yielded it. So yeah, I'm coming after you, Melina Perez. Well, here comes Melina Perez now. Hey, Becky Lynch, I don't got a bind with you. Why would you start something with me? I mean, yeah, it's not my mistake that I haven't been putting the TWF Allegheny Share winnings on stake like I should, and now you're going to pull the same stunt that Johnny Nagano did and say I have something to do with it? Well, that's kind of sad, when I don't have anything to do with it, Yeah, you only put your strap on stake at least 2 times since you won it, Melina. So I think, Melina Perez, someone really does scave you. Someone should. And Johnny Nagano just beat up Melina Perez from behind like a weakling, Gorilla Monsoon says. He couldn't handle that he didn't win the TWF Pennsylvania Reich winnings. So he beats up Melina Perez instead. Well, I could tell you one thing, Gorilla Monsoon, Corey Graves says. He knew how to pick it. He knew how to pick it, and he knew where his opening would be. Shit. Booker T says, when you're a heel, when you're a heel, you do hellish shit. Booker T says, I was a heel. I did hellish shit. I mean, I did hellish shit. When I first came into WWE, I struck Steve Austin from behind. You know. Yeah, and you were a weakling for doing that too, Gorilla Monsoon says. And you were a weakling for doing that. And if I was still alive, I would have scathed you for it. Well, here comes Astronema on the ring now. It seems to me that Johnny Nagata wanted to jump someone from behind. Why don't you just give me the match, Astronema, Corone? Give me the match with Melina Perez for the TWF Allegheny Share winnings, because you know Ric Flair is missing in work. You know. Yeah, I guess he is missing in work. Alright. It'll be Becky Lynch fighting Melina Perez for the TWF Pennsylvania Reich for the Allegheny Share winnings. Well, as you know, Gorilla Monsoon says it was Drew McIntyre who took out Ric Flair, and we haven't seen him since then. And we don't even know, where he's even at. And I don't know how fair this can be, because the fight keeper is seeing if Melina Perez can go, and she says she can. But I think that's a mistake, Gorilla Monsoon says. Yeah, well, you gotta like what Johnny Nagata did, Booker T said, striking her from behind. Something I know all about, because I jumped a lot of folks from behind, Booker T says. Yeah, you did, Corey Graves. In the beginning, your first run in WCW, your first run in WWF, you would strike folks from behind, mostly Steve Austin, And a lot of folks would call you a weakling for that, but that was just you showing that you were the greater of the heavyweight fighters at the time, Corey Graves says. No, I don't think so, Booker. I don't think so, Gorilla Monsoon says. I think that just showed Booker T was a weakling. And for the WCW heavyweight fighter at the time, to strike the WWF heavyweight fighter was kind of a sad thing. You should be ashamed of yourself. When him manhandle slam, Gorilla Monsoon says, in an unfair match because since Melina Perez was struck from behind by Johnny Nagata, Gorilla Monsoon says. Yeah, all love and fair, love and more, they say, Corey Graves says. Only I don't think this was a war. I don't even think this was a fight. Booker T says, it's over. Melina Perez got beat up. She lost the Allegheny Share winnings. Yeah, Booker T, you think it's right. When someone strikes you from behind, I don't want to hear you sobbing, Gorilla Monsoon says. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner. And the new TWF Allegheny Share fighter, Becky Lynch. And now Becky Lynch is going to behave. Like she just won a big match at Wrestle Madness. Like she was Hulk Hogan, beating Andre. Or she was Steve Austin beating Shawn Michaels. And we all know that she didn't. We all know that she did not. Gorilla Monsoon says. I know a lot of folks out there, Corey Gray says, might have scathed Becky Lynch for how she won, or scathed Johnny Nagata for how he won, beat her from behind. But now we got an Allegheny Share fighter we can all be proud of. Yeah, we can all be proud of, and we can all on look. There's nothing to be proud of And there's no onlook here, Booker T. It should be something to be ashamed of, something to be guilty of, you know. No onlook, nothing to be proud of. One weakling, Johnny Nergato, striking Melina Perez from behind. Another weakling, Becky Lynch, taking the upper hand on it, Gorilla Monsoon says. And you're telling me when you once wrestled, Booker T said you didn't do that? When I was a heel, I did all those things, sadly. When I shifted Baby Lair for the 2-with time, I gave up those heelish ways. And I hope you did too, Booker T, but I guess you did not. Well, Corey Graves says Booker T likes to flip-flop between being good and heel during his WFWE run and his 2WWE run, but I've been the heel all through my whole run in WWE and TWF. Alright, take it away now, Michael Cole. Thank you, Gorilla Monsoon. I'm going to be talking with Becky Lynch here today on NXT. Alright, Becky Lynch, you want a strap? Shit. Alright, Becky Lynch, stand up. Alright, Becky Lynch, you want a strap? It may not, you want a strap, but sadly you didn't win it the way you wanted to win it. Or did you want to win it that way? Well, Michael Cole, I did want to win that strap that way. And you just slight me. To any opening that you can take, go for it. That's what I did. That's what I did when I was in. That's what I did when I was in. That's what I did. And I always had to do. You know, you see an opening, you take it. And now I'm the TWF Allegheny Share fighter. And I am aware that I'm not a burrower of Allegheny Share. I'm quite aware of that. But then everybody else that won that strap weren't burrowers of Allegheny Share at all. But anyway, at the end of the day, now you don't have to worry about the strap not being on stake anymore. You don't have to worry about lazy Melina Perez. Melina Perez had no running lead over who she was wrestling and who she was fighting. Well, forgivenesses are like armholes or arm ways. We all have them, they stink. That came from Treehouse Lockup, one of the very good films that Jim Varney was in. But anyway, I'm the TWF Allegheny Share fighter, and, well, Melina Perez, she's a loser. You should also be thanking Johnny Nergato. Why would I be thanking Johnny Nergato or Johnny Wrestling? I did it on my own. Well, Becky Lynch believing that she all did it by herself when we all know that it was Johnny Nergato that helped her. Back to you, Gorilla Monsoon. Well, thank you, Michael Cole, for talking with Melina Perez here today on NXT. And it's all the time we got here for NXT. I, Gorilla Monsoon, with Corey Graves and with Booker T. We hope you like NXT, and we'll see you tomorrow for Dynamite, or Might.